Good morning. It's just after 5 a.m. here in Calgary, and this practice this morning on Wednesday is strength with a foundation of ease. And this is really important and very subtle concept around the ease part, because so often people build up the recovery from recovering from pain, and then they sort of forget about what they learned in the recovery from pain, and they go off and do whatever they're going to do, and they kind of forget, and they go back into pain again, and then they sort of throw up their hands and say, look, it's not working. So I really want to be a messenger around this idea of ease needs to be consistent throughout, and it will actually make you stronger. Like, that's the crazy part of all of that if you really cultivate this thing of ease, you'll get stronger and more sustainable. You'll feel better, you'll have more vitality, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to be focusing on plank and crow. So lots of arm work, so keep this in mind if you've got wrist and elbow issues. I highly recommend you do not practice this. If you've got wrist, elbow, and shoulder issues, there's so much else in this Facebook feed and the IGTV on the various libraries that I have. Go there, get yourself better before you start putting strength on top of an unstable infrastructure. Okay, so I highly recommend that. We're going to be using a spinal strip today. We're going to be using 2 blocks, and I'd like you to have a bolster handy as well. Okay, now if you don't have a spinal strip, you can just roll up your mat. We're going to start on our backs with a little bit of a back bend action happening. See, the beautiful thing about this is when we place this, you can use a pool noodle as well, or roll your mat or a blanket. But the idea here is I want to have you in a back bend to start. And this is being placed right at the base of your breastbone. And so you're getting a vertical motion, which is your typical back bend. And you're also getting this horizontal motion here. So some people might feel some strain around their back or their SI or coming off of their neck or jaw. And so I would recommend either coming on something less or coming off of this completely. Yeah. And just breathe and let yourself settle. After we do this, we're going to move into some bridge to work with our hips and our feet and our rib cage. But for now, just notice how it is that you are. Where you're at, how your day's been, how you've been. Lovely. Okay, and then we're going to come off of that. Good, and let that rest off to the side. And then rest back easy. Okay, now let's come up into a bridge. Now the thing with bridge is this angle of your hip is starting to get either bigger or smaller depending on your perspective, but it's going from this angle and it's coming out into this angle. So to do that, you need to use your glutes. Yeah, so I suggest for people just to kind of think about placing their hands where their bum meets their leg, which is about the gluteal fold, and then up you come, and you come back. If you think about your pelvis to your rib cage here, and then you're lifting, that is staying connected. Yeah. Now, if you can only come up this far, then only come up this far. That's completely cool. Feel the 3 points in the bottom of your feet. You don't have to push down to lift up, unless you absolutely have to, because your feet pushing down does not move your hips. I mean, they do, but it becomes a bit of a compensation. So feel the 3 points of your feet, the ball of your foot, base of your pinky toe, and center of your heel as you lift up, and then as you come down. As you lift up. Good, and as you come down. Good, okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to lift up, and I'm just going to play with moving some weight over to one foot. So bring over to one foot, the pelvis stays level. So what often happens when people do this is their pelvis drops like this. So as you put a bit more weight over into this left side, through your left hip, through your left bum, then notice what happens on your right side. If you start to get back pain, you've gone too far. Okay? Then come to 2, and now start to come back to the 1, or to this Right side, same thing. Allow more weight to come in. Let your bum kick in a little bit more. Now you might even lift a foot off the ground, come it back down. But again, you don't want to feel this in your back. If you're feeling it in your back, your bum's not doing the work. And just use that as a sort of as an awareness, yeah? Good. We'll talk about bums another day. Good. And watch if your shoulders are getting involved or your neck's getting involved. Okay, now we're going to lower all the way down and just take a breather. Good. All right, notice if there was any back stuff that kicked in, and just know that if there is some back stuff that kicked in, then your back was involved. It shouldn't have been involved in that way. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to take your feet directly opposite your hips here, and you're going to bring a block. Oops. You're going to slide a block right between your heels, like that, okay? And so I'm going to go with this angle for you. And here, we're just going to press the ankles into the block, right? So the movement are the ankles moving into the block. Try not to have this in your hamstrings. So sometimes people will kind of move like very micro. I'm making it bigger, but they'll move very micro going forward and back. Try not to have that happen, and try not to kind of brace down like this. Now again, I'm exaggerating it. So you're standing, like, I don't want to use the word standing tall, but you're in your typical Tadasana, and you're just pressing those heels in. So without trying to make it happen, where you'll probably feel it is somewhere in your bum, but I don't want to just say that and you go, okay, I'm going to get my bum fired up. I want you to think more of my heels are pushing into the block, and there's a chain that goes up to my hip, and maybe I feel it here, maybe I feel it in my hamstring, but just notice where you feel it, right? Just notice. And then just relax a little, press a little bit less. And then if you do or don't feel it there, that's all right. Just notice what you notice. I just don't want you to manufacture it. That's going to do you no good. Okay, good. All right, let that go. Now, we're going to come into tabletop. So with tabletop, I'm going to actually angle myself a bit so you can see me a bit better. So with tabletop here, we're just going to take the toes under, and we're going to lift the knees just by about an inch. So there's just a little bit of space between the floor and the knees. So the idea here is that when you lift your knees, there's a transition from being on hands, knees, and toes. So you're 6 points here, and then you're lifting to 4 points. So when you do that, you're adding more load to be taken through your body. Now, what I highly recommend you don't do is that you anticipate this. So when you anticipate it, you engage your abdomen and then lift. Try not doing that. Try this. Try taking those toes under, and then just notice the response of your body when you lift your knees a little bit. Yeah? And then bring it back down. Notice the response of your body when you lift your knees a little bit. And so your abdomen will probably kick in on its own as a result of lifting. And then we're just going to move ourselves back towards our heels and then forward. So let me show it from this angle. So you're here, you're just going to move back towards your heels and then forward. So you're moving through your hips, knees, and shoulders and wrists. But you see how my knees are not lifting up. I'm keeping them at about an inch. So your quads are going to be working a little bit here. Good. And then drop down. Good. So I really love teaching people how to be responsive in their body as opposed to bracing with their body, because bracing doesn't get very strong. Okay, we're going to go from table into plank and then into a dog. So let me come this way so you can see a little bit more clearly here. So we're in table. So we're going to lift the knees up a little bit, just so we did. Then we're going to slide one foot back and then the other foot back. Okay, just like so. And then we're going to lift ourselves into dog. And we're going to come back into plank. Then we're going to drop the knees. Okay, so from this angle, it looks like this. So knees up, one foot back, the other foot back. Yeah, and then up to dog, and then back to dog, back to plank, and drop the knees. So that you'll see the entire time my torso remains exactly the same, or very, very close. So look, I'm here, torso still the same. One foot comes back, torso still the same. One foot back, torso still the same. Up, torso still the same, right? Because I'm moving through my major joints here. And then back, and then back. Let's do that again. So table, lift the knees, 1 foot back. I'm not letting my hips go up like this. I'm also not bracing. I'm just allowing myself to go from now 4 points to 3 points, back to 4, and then up, and then down. Okay, good, nicely done. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is move these blocks out of the way for a sec. We're gonna move from dog and we're gonna do a little bit of arm work. Now the arm work, pay really close attention to how your shoulders and your elbows are moving through this. So you're coming into your dog again. I've got a small bolster here to demonstrate. So you're coming up into your dog, whether you do it from plank or not, because we're gonna come back to that sequence in just a moment. You're just gonna drop your elbows towards the bolster. So again, see how my torso is remaining the same, and it's just my elbows and my shoulders. So without the bolster, it's gonna look like this. So you're up in your dog, and you're just gonna drop and then up. So my upper body is moving, but it's not because I'm dropping through my upper body like this. See that distinction? Versus keeping my torso, allowing it to follow my elbow movement down. Now the thing is that some of you are gonna do this and you're gonna go, whoa, you're gonna wobble your way up. You can do that if you'd like, but I think you'll find faster results if you just take the height of the floor up a little bit to meet where you have better movement. And then as you gain more strength and endurance with the smaller range, then you'll be able to take the bolster away. So some of you are going to need to have a higher bolster to play with this, but you'll notice that you're getting into your arms. Notice if you're getting into your neck and your jaw, and that's just an indication that you're either moving with compensation and or you are needing to practice at a smaller range of motion just to gain better coordination and strength. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to combine the group here. So we're going to come into table and we're going to lift those knees. We're going to go back and forth a little bit. Watch that the knees don't rise up too much. Right? So we're trying to keep them at about an inch. Good. So your quads are probably doing a little bit of work here. Then we're going to drop the knees for a moment, take a breather. Now we're going to take the knees up a bit, bring the leg back, and up into dog, down into plank, up into dog. Good. Now, if you want to have the bolster, drop the elbows, come on up. Drop the elbows, come on up. Come back to plank and table. Okay, let's do that again. I'm going to move this onward. So you're here. Toes come under, knees lift, and we're going to move the hips and the shoulders back and forth. Watch those knees. Good. Okay, drop the knees for a moment. Lift the knees. Now we're at 4 points. We're moving to 3, back to 4, and then here. Good. And up into dog, down into plank, up into dog, down into plank, and then up into dog. Now if you've got bolster or not, you're going to drop those elbows towards the floor. Good job. Good. Okay, perfect. Lovely. Okay, so we're not quite at crow yet, are we? We're getting there. We're going to do one thing first, though. I've got 2 blocks. We're going to be here. We're back into table, okay? And I've put the block so it's right along my forearm here. And then from here, I'm going to start to move myself forward. Let me actually scooch back a bit so I stay on screen here. All right, so I'm here, and I'm going to bend my elbows, and I'm going to come forward, and then I'm going to come back up. I'm going to come forward and back up. Now, the reason I'm coming forward is because I'm bending my elbow like this. Now, for some of you, you're going to feel really wobbly doing this. You don't have to go all the way down. Just go down as far as you can actually be aware of what's going on in your body. Yeah? So we're here, and we're just allowing ourselves the elbows. Whoop. And then watch that you don't shrug your shoulders up. So that's going to be indication you're going too far. Yeah? So just come down and then up. And then down and then up. Okay, if you've got one more, then we'll do one more. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so those are some little things that you can play with to support you with your arms. We're going to add to this as we meet for these Wednesdays of ease as a foundation of strength. So we still got one more to go. Don't worry, we're not stopping yet. Because it's like there's such a gap I find between people who, when they get out of pain, and then they want to get on with the rest of their life, and so often the pain comes back. And so this is giving you some ideas and concepts. I can't see you. I don't know how you're moving, so obviously this is not customized for you, but it gives you an idea of things you can play with. Okay, so now that little commercial break on why strength is great leads us towards crow. Okay, so now crow pose is interesting because we need a lot of arm strength, but lots of people get totally frightened about crow, and I completely understand. So what I want to play with here is not only the strength component, but the emotional and mental component. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, and then you can play along with me. So we're going to be here, and we're going to come forward, and the movement we just did with the blocks is kind of the idea that we're playing with, because we're bringing more and more weight onto our arms. So where you place your knees is totally up to you. But you'll be here, and then you're going to just be here, and you're just going to lean more and more weight over onto your hands. And you'll see that, I'm not just kind of jumping my toes up. I'm just bringing more and more and more and more weight onto my hands. So what you have to kind of remember is that with crow, you don't have to take your toes off the ground. And I know in your brain you think you need to take your toes off the ground. I totally get that. But really, allow your body, as you bring more and more of your weight forward onto your hands, allow your arms to absorb the load. Really feel that load. And then also, if you're someone who's afraid of falling on your face, I completely get it, right? You're a healthy human being with a healthy brainstem. So then you can just notice when that starts to come up and just be conscious of when that happens as the load enters into your arms. See if you can feel the correlation between how much you're taking in your arms and your emotional experience. Okay, see if you can find the neutrality in that. Okay, so come over here. And you're coming over, and you're coming over, and you're coming over, and you might be saying, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So then just stay right here, back up a little bit. Feel your body here outside of an anxious state, yeah? Okay, and then if you're feeling okay, not trying to push, not trying to force your body or your brain anywhere, just if you feel okay and you're taking more weight onto those arms, and the toes just come on up. So you don't have to engage through your pelvic floor, you don't have to engage through your abdomen, which is why this whole practice I haven't mentioned a single word of that. This practice has just been exploring your movement of your arms and your legs and feeling the response of your body, which is really what crow, in my mind, is all about. So let's do it one more time. So I'm going to walk you through if you're someone who's finding you get emotionally and mentally leveraged with this. So if that's the case, so your knees are here, and then I'm going to also bring in the physical part. So you're taking the load through your arms. Notice when your brain or your mental state starts to go into a oh my God mode, and then just back up a little bit and feel your body. And if in your body you're good, then start to come forward. Notice your mental and emotional state. There's nothing to change here. You're a healthy human being. It's a good thing you experience what you experience. And then if your physical state and your mental state are connected, they're in line, then those toes come up. But you'll notice that as the weight comes over, that your body will naturally respond. So I'm not going to say you have to have your pelvic floor engaged and you have to have your abdomen engaged, because sometimes they're engaged, but you don't feel it. And you don't have to, right? It's just because that load is being taken over that way. Yeah? It's going over your hands, and so the other body parts are responding. All right, lovely. Really, really good. So let's come on to into a sitting position. So grab your bolster, grab a block, and then come on in here, come into a sitting position. Let's just do a little twist to finish up here. And begin by bringing your hands together and taking yourself in. Now, as I've mentioned every week, I'm working on a program for you guys that I'm going to launch in the middle-ish of 2021 all about strength, ease as the foundation of strength. So it really will help you to move through that step. A lot of people, I'm going to be a bit bold here, erroneously think they need to get stronger to get out of pain. Because there's an assumption that if you have pain that you're weak. And that's not entirely true. Sometimes it is, but it's not entirely true. Let's go this way again. More often, from a physical standpoint, there are some neuromuscular patterns that aren't quite working properly, but that's not a pure strength problem. That's a coordination issue. So when you clean those up, which is what we do in Back to Basics, and all of these Facebook Lives that I run, as you clean those up, you're going to find yourself getting stronger. Yeah? And then you'll want to get stronger. Like you'll get out of the pain cycle, and then you'll probably be someone who wants to get stronger. And so that is what I'm going to be teaching you later in 2021. Okay, let's come here. Feel yourself now. Feel your sitting bones, feel your legs, feel your torso lifting up, just what that experience is. Hands come here. Feel your palms touching. Feel how your palms are an extension of your heart. And feel your third eye between your eyebrows as being in line with your pubic bone, maybe even your perineum. And breathe in with ease and out with gratitude. You have a really, really great day. Enjoy what this feels like, practice it, and we will see you tomorrow for some Back to Basics. Take good care, have a great day.